Hey, what's up, Neds? I thought I'd do a book pickup, book haul for you, video, whatever. Um, I've been watching a lot lately. I've been getting back into watching a lot of these book hauls lately on YouTube, and it's been a lot of fun. I haven't been buying much at all. Like there's two stacks there, but this is like a few months worth. I live in a van now, so I can't buy the books as frequently as I used to. I have a storage unit, but it is so fucking full. It is ridiculous. But I still go to the op shops and thrift stores and bookshops and stuff like that because I'm buying my nieces a lot of books. They love their books, so they've been getting into the Where's Wally books recently, which is so bizarre to me that they like that, but that's fantastic. So I've been finding those, and we've been going through those, and there's a lot of those look and find type books that they've been getting into, the Frozen ones, of course, and like Where's Olaf or whatever. So I've been looking for those sort of books for them and whatever other books for them that I think they would like. But I still have been buying some for myself, but just not as frequently. And honestly, I think this stack is, yeah, look, a couple of months, I want to say. Definitely going from last year. Some of these are from last year. Because I just don't have the space anymore. I love the van life though. It's fucking great. But yeah, in no particular order, this is just how I stacked it so they wouldn't fall down. But I got this Star Wars book, this omnibus of the first three original films. So Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi. I've never read these before. I used to have about was over 200 Star Wars books, and I would have had these individually, but never in the omnibus. But I had to sell them, was probably early last year, because I just, I needed the money. So they had to go, and I kind of regret it, but at the same time, that whole collection just sat on the shelf. I never read Star Wars. I never read them, so, which was just, I don't understand why, because it's my favorite franchise ever before Disney took over. And the books are fantastic. So I've never read this trilogy before. I have a lot of these books, a lot of the Star Wars books on audio, so I might even just be listening to a lot of them. But I thought for $3 or whatever, this is just a cool one to have. It's got a little Darth Vader on the front there, but to have all three in there, I don't know. I just thought that was a good idea to pick this up, because it's always a good idea to pick books up. I need to move this shit around. Nice hot tea there. Ooh, yeah, that's fucking hot. Let's put that there. Give me coconut water. All right, so these two books I actually bought new. I haven't bought any new books for a while, but I went out for coffee with a friend, and I had some time to kill before we meet up, and I went into the bookshop. Surprise, surprise! I actually went into an actual bookshop, and I was looking for some Nick Cutter, because I keep seeing it, and I've heard about Nick Cutter before, and I know some of his books are pretty messed up, and you just never find them at the op shop. And I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go and buy one of his books to see what it's like. I got The Deep. I don't know what it's about. I just got it. I don't know if it's his first one. I think it's like maybe second one or something. I don't know, but it's from 2015, so it's, wow, that's like 10 years old. But I've heard nothing but great things about The Deep. So about Nick Cutter himself, and his writing. So I really want to get to this one very soon. I'm currently reading the last book in the Matthew Riley series, The One Impossible Labyrinth. I take the dust jacket off when I'm reading, because it fucking slips down all the time. But I do have the dust jacket, awesome, on the inside there. But I just read the first 5 of these, because I read the first one and then I listened to the next 5, and I picked this up again at the op shop because I actually have all of his books in hardcover, but it's in my storage unit and there's no way I could get it. So I found another copy at the op shop a few weeks ago, so I picked it up again, and then I will just leave this in a little library somewhere, little free library, when I'm finished with it. But it's so good, it's really good. But this one will probably be the next one that I read, because I've heard really good things. And then the lady at the shop recommended me this one because I told her that I've been listening to some like murder mystery, sort of thriller, cop thriller type books, because they're not a genre that I've really experienced before. So I want to get into some like Katie Reichs and what's another one? The bloke, Jeffrey Deaver. Yeah, I think it's Jeffrey Deaver. I want to get into his one, so I'm looking for his first book. And there's a heap of other authors that I want to try out. But the lady at the shop recommended me Jack Heath's Hangman. This apparently he's an Australian author, which is awesome. And this is about a guy that he works for the FBI, or he's like the FBI's last resort. And he's like a problem solver for them. If the FBI needs somebody killed, I think he will go and kill them. And then, or he needs someone saved, he'll save that person. Like he's like a special agent, like a very, very special fucking secret agent is what I was trying to say. But he's also like their last resort because he doesn't take payment in money, he takes payment in lives. So if he saves a life, then he takes a life. He wants a dead body, or he wants a body so he can eat them. So he's a cannibal. So his payment is bodies so he can eat them. So yeah, that's just sounds so fucking cool to me. So he's like a Hannibal, but a good guy. He saves people, then eats people that are bad. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But it sounded really cool, and it's only like 360 odd pages, so you could knock that out in a couple of sittings. The writing's really big. There's a few in the series. This is the first book, obviously, or well, at least I hope it's the first book. And it's from originally 2018, but this edition was from 2019. So they're about 3 or 4 out at the moment, I think. So there may be more. But that just sounded really cool, and she recommended it to me, and I'm sort of trying to branch out of my comfort zone. So Hangman by Jack Heath. I don't know when I'm going to get to it though. Maybe after The Deep I might read that. I got this one from the Up Shop. This was really cool. It's like $3. This is Con Igulden, Wolf of the Plains. This is the epic story of the Kang Dynasty. That's the only reason I got it. I don't know anything about it. It's just, it could be historical fiction with some twists in it, and to sort of make it a bit more fantastical, that sort of thing. But I do want to read some more historical fiction. I want to read some Bernard Cornwell's, his Arthur type stuff, and then he's got some Viking shit as well, which I got one book of somewhere. I don't know where it is. Could be back in storage. But I do want to read some more historical fiction. I think this one will be a good introductory. Anyway, I believe it's the only one. Wolf of the Plains. Yeah, I'm sure it's a semi-standalone, or it's the first one. I'm not sure. I'll have to look. Oh no, it's part of the Conqueror series by the looks of this, actually. Lord of the Bow, Bonesville. This could be the third one. I don't know. I need to do some more research and find out what the fuck's going on. But it's from 2007, so we'll see. But it just seemed really interesting, and the Kang Dynasty is absolutely fascinating. Khan Dynasty, not Kang Dynasty. It's not fucking Marvel. The Khan Dynasty. So it's about Genghis Khan. I picked up this just because I don't see this very often. This was the First Rule by Terry Goodkind. This is my favorite fantasy book ever. Now, obviously, I haven't read every fantasy book. Like, I haven't read The Magician. I haven't read any of the Terry Brooks stuff, the Shannara series. I haven't read any David Eddings and all that sort of stuff. But this was my book when I was going through high school. This came out in 96, I reckon. 94. Wow. Well, this edition was from 94, so yeah, well, I guess the whole thing came out in 94. But I read this in probably like 2001, and then I just, or even 2000, and I just went on through the whole series. And I've read this twice. I've read the first 11 books twice because I just absolutely love it. This one in particular is so good. You could just read this and leave it if you wanted to, but if you continued on to book 2, and you'd have to keep going because this is a standalone fantasy. It kind of leaves, like, you could leave it. You could just leave it and just read this, and it sort of leaves enough to keep you satisfied. But then it also, if you want to know more about this world and these characters and what happens next, if you fucking keep going, you can't stop. So unfortunately he's not alive anymore, so we won't be getting any more in this series. But there's a good chunk. There's about 20 books that he's written and a lot of them are in this world. So it is so good. This is adult fantasy at its finest, I believe. His later books are a little hit and miss. This is by far the best one, and I loved it so much. So I had to get this. I have all of his books either in trade paperback or first edition hardcovers or first release hardcovers, but I don't see this very often, and I don't know, it's pretty good condition. It could be in better condition than the one I've got, so I just picked it up, and then I'll donate the other one if it's not any good. But it's just an absolutely amazing series. I absolutely love this series, so I had to get that just because I needed another copy. This one was 25 cents or 20 cents. This is The 100th Man by Jack Keeley. One cop, one psychopath, one shared secret. It's a very short book. It's only probably 300 pages, so it's very thin. The words are huge, so I could probably do this in a sitting if it hooks me. But if not, definitely 2 or 3 sittings for sure. I don't know anything about it. It just seems like a murder thriller, sort of cop trying to catch a serial killer. I do want to read more of these books, so for 25 cents I thought I'd give it a crack. If it's no good, I'll just donate it to a little free library. Yeah, it seemed okay. Worth a crack for 25 cents or 20 cents or whatever. It was part of like 5 for $1, but I found 3 books, so yeah. Again, if I see him this cheap, I'm going to get him to give him a crack. I got this one because this is the Wind in the Willows sequel. This is called The Willows in Winter. I believe I already have this in hardcover, but this is just a really nice clean copy that I could use to read to my nieces, because my nieces love me reading to them, and when they get older I want to read them more books like this. And Wind in the Willows is one of my favorite stories by Kenneth Grahame. Is one of my favorite stories of all time. I love it so much. This is by William Hallwood, and he wrote another series, I can't think of it now, but with like talking animals and very similar premise with the animals and stuff. So I think he understands how to write in that sort of world with those sort of characters and those sort of creatures. But yeah, I've seen the cartoon movie sequel of this, so it's really cool. But I just got it because it was nice and cheap and a really nice copy and a good one to read. I think easier to read than the hardcover for whenever I get to them reading to my nieces. So that and Treasure Island, Wind in the Willows and Treasure Island are the ones I have the most copies of books of. And also there's a fucking car meetup, like a hot rod / car meetup just across the road in some random car park. Like, it's so weird. So if you hear like revvings of engines and stuff, it's this mob over here going nuts. I kind of want to go and have a look, but I don't really care that much. But some of those cars look sick. Anyway, I got Stranger Things, Darkness on the Edge of Town by Adam Christopher. So this is a prequel about old mate Hawkins, Hopper rather. He was in Hawkins. I don't know if this is going to have any sort of like supernatural fantasy science fiction shit to it. I think it's just more about Hopper as a copper before he came to Hawkins and did all the shit that he did in Stranger Things. I'm kind of over Stranger Things now. Like, it's been too long. I know the last season's coming out and I really like the show, but I just don't care. I will watch the show, but I'm not going to race out and watch it. But I'm just over it at the moment. But this, I did want to read the book, so I have the other one that's like a prequel, like to the show, like an actual prequel to the events that happen in the show. So keen to give that one a crack at some stage. It's just in my storage unit. So I hadn't seen this one in the op shop before, and it hasn't been read. Like, this is brand new, so I picked that up, and it hasn't been out for too long. It's like a couple of years old, I want to say. 2019. Did it really come out 2019? Actually, it probably did, because it came out when I was I was doing my placement for in a library for when I was doing my librarian diploma. So, and I remember seeing it actually. Like it was brand new in the new release section of the library, and I was going to borrow it, but I borrowed the Jackie Chan biography instead. Oh fuck! Let's have a tea break. So yeah, I don't know. I'll get that to it. I'll get to that eventually. This one was another like. Okay, this one was $4. I think I already have this book because I still have. What is this fucker doing? Parking next to me. Everybody's parking around here to go to this fucking car thing. Anyway, I think I have this one already, but it's in my storage unit, and it sounds really cool. And I believe it's set in Sydney, so here in Australia. Yeah, winter in Sydney, and it's I don't even really know what it's about. Oh, it's okay. So Kath Furler, called Ghost Girls by Kath Furler, and she's a Melbourne-based writer with a background in screenwriting and script editing. And it's from 2016, so it's pretty old now. So that's pretty cool. But I was reading just the first page, and the first sentence of this page is, "The room smelled like wet onions." And I don't know what I just laughed. I laughed like harder than I probably should have when I got it, and I was so I just and I was like, this. The more I looked at it, I'm like, this. I think I have read this. I've well, not read this, but I think I own this. I think I've already got this in my storage unit, but it's yeah, I don't know. It's like what does it say in the back here? Let's have a little read along. Winter in Sydney. The Sydney is brewing with foreign students. Sophie Sandilands takes a job teaching at an English language school. When one of her students leaps to her death, it becomes clear that lurking within the psyche of this community is a deep sense of despair and alienation. When it is revealed that the dead woman on the pavement has stolen another's identity, Sophie is drawn into a mystery. Cool. So it's like a murder mystery or a suicide mystery or whatever the fuck it's. I don't know, it just seemed really interesting to me, and I just laughed too much at the start of that sentence for no reason. Just I thought that was a good way to start a book. But yeah, and I do want to read more Australian authors because I don't, and that's terrible of me. And I want to read more stuff outside my normal go-to. So this is because all my go-to stuff I listen to. Like I listen to an audiobook every day and a half at work. I'm lucky enough I can listen to an audiobook all day at work. So I'll knock out stuff there like that. So physically I want to read stuff that I wouldn't normally. And then I just picked up this as well. Like this is brand new from the off shop. This was like a $35 book, and I think it's fairly recent. 2021, so it's 4 years old. I have no idea about. I've heard of this book. Jay Kristoff, Empire of the Vampire. Brand spanking new. It was $3. Reason I got it as well, picked it up because it's a signed book. Like it's signed by the author, and it's not a print. It's not a fucking plate that they put in and just signed it. It's got bleed through. You probably can't. The camera's probably not going to pick it up, but there is a little bit of bleed through of the signature. So I'm not sure if Jay has actually physically signed it or it's just been printed on. But I don't know. But I got it anyway. I couldn't leave it there. I don't know if I'll ever read it, but I have it, and it'll go in storage until I ever decide to stop living the van life. But I just noticed it's got some pretty cool art in there. I don't think it's my type of book, but for $3 brand new signed, and I picked it up. Maybe it'll be a nice gift for somebody. So I picked this up. This is Sex and Zen, A Bullet in the Head, the essential guide to Hong Kong's mind-bending films, with a foreword by Jackie Chan, by Stephen Hammond and Mike Wilkins. This came out in 1996, which is peak Hong Kong movie time, like a period of time where I was really full on into my Hong Kong action films. They do, in my opinion, they do the best action films ever in all of movie history. The stuff out of Hong Kong, especially in the 80s and early 90s up to fucking now, even, like, their films are so good. So it's just a little bit of an expose on all these different films, and there's a lot of films that I've never seen. And growing up, I watched a lot of these films because, well, a lot of Hong Kong and Asian films, and a lot of Japanese films, especially for samurai films, because I was a big reader, and the subtitles was no problem for me as a kid growing up. I could follow along and read. And it's my love of Eastern films today is because of that. So I don't know. I just got it. It was really cool. It was only a couple of bucks. I haven't had a chance to flick through yet. I got this like a couple of weeks ago, actually. So that was a really good pickup, really good find. And it will show me movies that I haven't seen, so I can try and find them to watch. So that was just a nice little random one. I picked this one up when I went on holidays last week. It's called Escape from Jupiter. This is a kid's book, or a junior novelization, or a middle grade book, whatever you want to call it, based on a TV series from the 90s, like 94 or something, I want to say. Yeah, probably 94. Australian kids series. I think it was about 6 to 8 episodes long, maybe 10 episodes long, I'm not sure, but this was peak Australian kids show TV. It was so good. Escape from Jupiter, and then it had a sequel series called Return from Jupiter, and it's about a bunch of kids with their family that the kids were born in space, and they live on a space station that fucking orbits Jupiter, and something happens. If I remember correctly, the show is on YouTube. Like, you can watch this. Check it out, Escape from Jupiter and Return from Jupiter. It's fucking really good. But something happens and they need to escape from the space station, because I think it's gonna fall into the orbit of Jupiter or some shit like that. So it might be like a mining colony or something. So they've got to like try and escape. The kids don't have, like, they've never been to Earth, like they were born in space. So yeah, it's just really cool. And then I think the sequel was like they need to return to Jupiter for some reason. But it's really good. It's very, very good. I kind of want to read this like now. But that's cool. This one I picked up at the same time as that one. This is called Timon's Flight by Mary Victoria. Now, I stopped buying random books. Like, normally I would just see like a fantasy or science fiction or whatever, and I would just buy them all. Like, I'll just take them and buy them, and then they sit on my shelf. They'd sit in storage, whatever. I've stopped doing that, but this one sounded really intriguing to me. This one's called, I already said what it's called, but it's from the Chronicles of the Tree, and this is book 1 in a trilogy. I believe it's a trilogy. Come out from 2010, so it's 16 years old. I don't know what the other books are called in the series. This is the first printing of this mass market edition, I'm pretty sure, from 2010. But it's essentially it's a fantasy, I guess, and it's about this group of I suppose they're people or known people or something like that. Or let's just say there's about a group of fantasy people that live inside this tree, and it's called the World Tree, and it's fucking huge. And they have different societies that live in this tree, and they have different you got your slaves and you got your scientists, and you've got this and you got that, and you got your ruling people and all that sort of stuff. But these people don't leave the tree, and they think that tree is the world. Like, they think it's a world, and science is outlawed. They're not allowed to do science. So some people get together, they do science, and then they escape and they go and explore the world, I think, outside of the World Tree. And I love that trope. I love that thing where there's this community of people, or this community of whatever, and they think that that's their world, like that's the whole world, and they need to go and do something, and they need to leave, and they can't leave, but they find a way to get out, and then they do, and then they discover this whole new world. I love that. I love that whole trope. Similar to what Snowpiercer is. How Snowpiercer, if you've seen the movie, like, he's on the back couple of carriages, and he needs to go, and every carriage is like something different, and as they keep going and going and going, they realize, fuck, this train's whatever is bigger than we originally thought, and they get to the end, and like, I love that sort of thing. I love that sort of trope. So yeah, it just seemed really interesting. I don't know when I'll ever get to it, but I've never seen this before. I've never heard of it, and it was a couple of bucks. I thought I'd pick it up just in case, and if I ever I'll have a hunt around and try and find the other two, and if I can get them cheap enough, I'll pick them up as well. But I just thought it was a really cool idea, and it's one of my favorite sort of tropes. So I picked that one up. I've been looking for this book though for a long time. This is Monkey by Wu Chang En. I'm so sorry, but yeah, this is Monkey. This is based on that, the story Journey to the West. If you know Monkey Magic or just Monkey, but we call it Monkey Magic here for some stupid reason. In the 80s, I think it was made in the 70s or dubbed in the 70s, but we got it in the 80s here in Australia. But this is the full story. I believe this is the full story. This is translated by Arthur Whaley. This particular version came out in 1984, but it was first translated or first published by Unwin, which is these guys, or a different company rather. It is these guys. It was first published in 1979 and then reprinted 79, 83 and 84 in this edition. But I believe it originally was out in like 1942, this story. So there is a copy of this in a hardcover at the bookstore, but it's like over $40. And I was like, I'm not paying that. I'm sorry. It is a very bland hardcover and not worth the $40. So I've been looking for this because this TV series never ended. It never concluded. Like, it ended after 50 episodes or whatever, but it never actually concluded. So now I've got the full story. I believe I got the full story. But it's about, Monkey, who was trapped under a mountain for 500 years, and he got released by Tripitaka on the condition they join later on, Pigsy and Sandy, to go and retrieve the ancient scriptures from India and bring them back to China. This is a mission from Buddha. So, and it's like a redemption thing for Monkey because he was just fucking causing trouble. So I'm so stoked that I found that. I nearly lost my shit when I found it because I have been looking for this for a long time, and it is a very, it's a little bit pricey book to find and very hard to find, but fucking great anyway. I used to own a bunch of David Walliams books, and I've read a few. And these are so good. These are so good. I don't know what it is about. They're such a quick read. Like, you can smash this out in a sitting in a couple of hours. Like, it's so cool. But I had almost everything that he'd released up to a certain point. Like, but I sold them because at the time I was homeless and I needed the cash. So I'm slowly, if I find really nice copies of them in the op shop, I'm going to pick them up, because again, this one was part of that 5 for $1, and I only found the 3, but this was like 25 to 30 cents or whatever. This one's called Slime. Don't actually know it. Haven't heard of this one. It's got a free island inside. Oh yeah, this one's I was looking at the back. This has got a free island inside, right? So you look at the back. It says, "Here is your free island picture to cut out and keep." That just made me laugh. But it's like they're cool. They got cool drawings, very similar to Roald Dahl's Quentin Blake. Tony Ross does the pictures for these, and then this one here is Gangster Granny. So I've got a hardcover first edition of the Ice Monster in storage somewhere, and I've got a few of these other ones, but they're so good. These are a modern day Roald Dahl. I'm sure everybody knows that, but this is a modern day Roald Dahl. Tony Ross is a modern day Quentin Blake for sure, and these are just so fucking good. If you love Roald Dahl, these are just great. Very, very cool books, and there's a heap of them. There's a fucking ton of them. I saw this one in England when I was in England last year. This is Death on Gokumon Island by Seishi Yokomitsu. Seishi Yokomitsu. Classic Japanese murder mystery from the author of the Honjin murders. So this, I don't know if it's part of a set, like part of an ongoing story, but he has written, or this person, Seishi, he has written a few others as well, like at least 4 in this, at least in this like cover, this style cover and this style sort of collection. It's just like a murder mystery. So this is really cool, but it's set in Japan. I don't know if it's modern day or modern-ish day, but oh yeah, so there's a private detective, so I guess it's like semi-modern, so that's really cool. But I saw this in England, and I was going to pick it up for £10, but I didn't. I picked up a bunch of others. So to find it here in the op shop was fantastic because it's brand new. Like this, there's no spine crease, and it was only $3. So I was like, yeah, this is awesome. It's really cool. This one is The Murderer's Ape by Jacob Wedgelius. Jacob Wedgelius. I don't know. It's just a really nice, clean book, and it was $3. Sorry, it was $2, down from 17, and it just seemed really cool. It's a kid's book or a junior book. It's quite long, like it's 600 pages, but it's very I know you can't really tell, but it's large. Like that's a large print, and it's not a lot of words on those pages. And it's about this monkey. Like it's set in is this not what I thought it was? No, that's not the book I thought it was. Anyway, but it's like these guys have a like a ship, like they're like a crew on a ship, and they do like jobs for people, and they get given a secret job, and some shit goes wrong, and the monkey, he's a smart monkey, he's like the ship's mechanic or chef. See, the chef is a he could be, he's like the mechanic or the chef or something, I don't know, but he tries to the captain of the ship has been wrongly accused of murder, so he's like got to try and solve the murder, and yeah, I don't know. It just looked too nice to leave there, but it seemed really cool anyway. This one is cool. I've heard about this book before. This one's called Nightmare Fuel: The Science of Horror Films by Nina Nesef. I wanted to get this, but it was like 35 or $30 or something like that. Like it's only just come out like a couple of years ago. It's come out in 2022, and it was been on my list to get because I fucking love horror movies. I've been getting into a lot of horror books lately, but I'm reluctant to read this because I don't want to get any horror films spoiled for me. So I might have a little flick through and see if there's anything that I really need to watch before I read this. But it's just, she dissects the horror genre in film and talks about it, and it just seems really cool. There's a couple little like essay type things going on in here, but yeah, hopefully not too many spoilers on too many films, but it may not even be anything like that. Like it may not spoil anything, but they talk about, it says here, they talk about films from The Exorcist all the way up to Hereditary. So yeah, I just thought it's a really nice first edition hardcover, and it's only $3, so it feels really cool. It feels awesome. But I will I'll get around to that pretty soon. I'll definitely read it this year, but I just want to make sure that I don't ruin any horror books for me before I start. But it's a really nice book anyway to put on the shelf or in storage. Now, I know I said before I don't find any Nick Cutter books in an op shop, and I still stand by that. I've not found any Nick Cutter books in the op shop, but I did go to a secondhand bookstore in Merimbula, New South Wales, and they had The Troop. I've heard this one. This one's been fucking floating around on my TikTok lately, and I heard about this book before anyway, and it's apparently really fucked up. And I hope so. I hope so, because I don't know what it is lately, but I love reading about fucked up things. I would rather read about it than watch it in a film, because it just doesn't... I think my imagination is a lot worse than what I see on the film. And this one's from 2014, so this one actually might have come out before The Deep, if I remember. It was maybe 2015, so I might have to read this one first. Is this one... I'm sure somebody will tell me in the comments, but is this his first book? I don't know. But anyway, Yeah, I found the truth. It was $8, and I thought, fuck it. I've not seen this in any secondhand store, any op shop, or anything like that before, and I wasn't really going to. And even I couldn't find it new. It was really hard to find Nick Cutter books new. When I went to QBD Books the other day, they actually started to give a horror section, because the horror section didn't have its own section. Like, the horror books were always mixed in with the crime thriller and all that sort of bullshit. And it's like, it's so annoying to search through. But they've just started there. The lady told me that they're doing a temporary thing where they're just testing it out. Now one of the stores testing it out, and I said to her, please keep a horror section. I know it could be just all fucking Stephen King, but you can have your own Stephen King section as well. And she was like, yeah, but I said that we like it, but then if we start doing it in every store, then every genre is going to want its own section. And I'm like, who's speaking up for all the other genres? Like, how do these genres, like, they say, well, now the genres, they want to, they've talked amongst themselves and they want a romance section, or they want this section, or they want to, whatever. But it's like, there should be a horror section for sure. So yeah, I got the truth. I said, it's a great idea. Keep it up. Keep doing it. So they're going to pass that on. She's going to say, yep, Ryan said keep it. So they're going to keep it. And then lastly, I picked this up for $2. I wasn't going to, but I thought, fuck it. It's getting so hard to find. But it doesn't have the dust jacket, which was why I wasn't going to pick it up. But I thought, fuck it. I don't need to read the dust jacket. Like, I don't need the dust jacket. If I'm that precious about it, I'll fucking print one off. I'll get some nice paper. I'll go to Officeworks and I'll print the dust jacket off, and I'll give it a nice dust jacket. This is the Del Toro Quest 3. This is an omnibus of the whole series. So it's like the 5 books or whatever they had of the 4 books from originally 2003 was when it was released, but this version, this omnibus, reprinted 2011. So I've read all the Del Toro Quest books. They're really good books, and she's an Australian author. Emily Rotto is Australian. They're really good kids fantasy books, sort of, in the style of the Goosebumps in terms of the writing. Yeah, righto, calm down. This is a private car park. All these fuckers. But yeah. I have the first one, I have the second one. I've needed the third one for so fucking long. So I just, for $2, I thought, stuff it. I'll print off a cover and put on there. But yeah, that's it. That was everything. I had a good old chat about books. Yeah, I don't think I'll be doing this again for a little while, because, as I said, I don't buy books much anymore. Like, that's a good few months worth right there, and it's not a lot compared to what I used to get. I used to buy that a day. But let me know in the comments if I got anything wrong, or what you think I should read next, or what you think I should read at all, or give me some recommendations, and I probably won't read that either. And what the fuck do you want? Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, till next time, guys. Take care.